What's going on, guys? So I wanted to do a quick post-range roundup, I'd like to call this. So today was the first day out at the range with the ported echelon that we just finished up. Compared it to a ported echelon that I had done elsewhere prior, and they were equally as impressive with basically the same port setup. We also compared the newly dual ported Fusion Firearms XP Pro with my factory ported XP Pro, of course, and the only difference is the 3 ports on the top on this one versus this one. And we had a phenomenal day. So little over 100 rounds through each with 0 issues whatsoever. And although I can comfortably and honestly say that it wasn't a massive difference in the look on camera, the feel was unbelievable. Like the return to zero, the promptness of the muzzle flip was just, it seemed so much better, and the gun was so much more accurate. Now, one of the issues I've always had with the XP is trouble keeping it in tight groups, right? I've been able to get 2 or 3 shots in a nice little group, and then the rest of my shots will kind of be around the circle. Whereas now with this one, I was hitting groups, literally a 2-inch circle all the way out to 10 or 15 yards. And with the factory ported barrel, I was stuck with that similar like 4 to 5 inch grouping with maybe a flyer here and there. So much more precise, much more laser-like with the dual ported version here. But I will say that I do believe that this has cemented the reality for me that what I'm going to do with this one is an extra port. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go with 4 ports instead of 3, because I do believe it could benefit from 1 extra that will help bring the muzzle flip down even more and help keep it completely flat. Now, right now, there's still a tad bit of muzzle flip, and even though, like I said, that return to zero is very precise, it's still there, and I want to see if I can mitigate that completely and keep it to just a little bit of a muzzle rise versus a muzzle flip, if that makes sense. And that's what I'm going to go for. So super stoked, super excited. It was a phenomenal day. I mean, the only issue that I had on the entire day was a light primer strike with the XF Pro, and I think I figured it out, and I don't think it actually has anything to do with the springs on the striker. I think it's actually the magazines. Now, may sound weird, and I know some people will probably hear light primer strikes from a magazine, but what I think honestly is happening is I think there's certain mags that I'm using that the gun does not like, and what's physically happening is the bullet, the casing itself is not rising up all the way to actually get into the chamber. So what's happening is even though the trigger is resetting, the bullet is like 3/4 of the way up, but it's not actually in the chamber. So when the striker comes forward, it's hitting the top of the primer instead of actually making contact with the primer and sending the bullet downrange, because the bullet is not actually coming completely up and entering the chamber. So once I switched those magazines out and ran the factory magazines with the thin metal feed lips, had no more issues. So it may just be a design thing where that pistol in particular does not like those thick, like Magpul style feed lips. And after that, I had no more issues with it. So hopefully that was the only, hopefully we figured that out and I can move forward with that. And I'm definitely going to do a couple more videos. We need to do a complete roundup on the Daria DY9 Island, and I also need to give you a complete update on the Echelon, and we'll go from there. So I appreciate you guys. Hope you have an awesome day. Later. Now the dual ported XP.